Hello, I'm that guy with a tripod. And today, I thought I'd talk about the first anime series I've ever watched. Okay, one of the first animes I ever watched, Yu-Gi-Oh. Based on the fictional card game Duel Monsters created by Kazuki Takashi. I'm terribly sorry if I pronounced that wrong. I probably did. Yu-Gi-Oh has become very popular in recent years. So popular that it got 4 spin-off series from the original series. I'm not kidding here. There's the original Yu-Gi-Oh series, the first spin-off, GX, the second, 5Ds, Zexal, and the latest one, Arc V. That's just impressive. While Pokemon has been going strong for nearly 15 years with one main series, Yu-Gi-Oh has had 5 series, each with its own show. Now I know what you're saying, but guy, Pokemon has other series. True, with Black and White and Diamond and Pearl. Uh, but Yu-Gi-Oh on the other hand has its own characters, story, and lore. Pokemon still revolves around Ash becoming the best that there ever was. Now, as I said, there are 5 series of Yu-Gi-Oh, so I'll explain them all and what I think about them. The first was the original, simply named Yu-Gi-Oh. This series revolves around Yugimoto. He unlocks the secret of the Millennium Puzzle, which infuses him with the spirit of the Pharaoh. This was the series that I watched the most, but I only watched the first season mainly because it was so different from the rest. And I'm not talking about just the first series. I mean from all the series. It's about when the creator of the game Duel Monsters, Maximilian Pegasus, kidnaps Yugi's grandfather. The reason why he did it eludes me, but I'm sure it was a big deal. Yugi and his friends travel to his island and must partake in a tournament. Now this is where the difference in the tournament and the player. Now hang on. Now this is where it's different in the tournament. The players can summon monsters regardless of their level. It can also the spells and trap cards are very simple, as well as the players only had about 2,000 life points each. Now in the next season, players can summon monsters hang on. The players can summon monsters, but only after sacrificing weaker ones. And spells and trap cards are much more complicated. Now each player has 4,000 life points each, compared to the games where we all have 8,000 life points each. Well, wonder why is that? Now, even though I was a fan of the series, I never watched the whole shebang. I remember watching the first, second, and third season, and a little bit of the fourth as well as the final duel. Overall, it was a great start to a great set of series, or shows. Now let's focus on the second series, Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. It focuses around a kid named Jaden Yuki, that's Y-U-K-I, attending a school for duelists. Now while I agree a school for duelists is a good idea to work with, it also raises several questions. Why? Has the card game become so popular that it had to get a school to teach it? Now it is implied that Seto Kaiba, Yugi's rival in the first series, started it, makes you wonder why. Not only that, but it also implies there are other schools, to which raise even more question: who started them? Is this something that will make jobs? I don't know. Okay, I'm getting off track. What? No. Hang on. I'm getting. Okay, where was I? I lost my train of thought. Sorry. Okay. The Duelist Academy has a color rating system. It's based on the Egyptian god cards from the first series: Obelisk Blue, Ra Yellow, and Slifer Red. which is kind of organized wrong. It's never explained why they're ranked that way, but but but, but they do. Hey, hang on. But they never realized that Obelisk is the weakest out of the three God cards at any given time. With only 4,000 attack and defense points, while Ra's attack points are the combined amount of the three monsters one must sacrifice to get it on the field, and Slifer gets 1,000 points for each card in the player's hand. Yeah, the God cards are really overpowered, except for Obelisk. Now, GX also focuses on a certain way of summoning, which will become a theme with every series of Yu-Gi-Oh! From now on. It focuses mainly on fusion summonings. Now, there was fusion in the last series, but there wasn't that much of it. But in GT, it's everywhere. Not only does Jaden use it, but every character does, at least one fusion in the whole series. Okay, moving on to 5Ds. It takes place years after Yu-Gi-Oh! And GX, and I can't explain it, but this is my favorite out of all of them. I think it's because it takes a much darker route than the first two mentioned. While the previous two did get serious at times, but it always kept that kid-friendly attitude. Unlike 5Ds, 5Ds focuses on a duelist in a rundown city called the Satellite, which is the domino from the previous two cities. I know. The main character, Yusei Fudo, for most of the first series, tries to make life in Satellite better, but in order to do that, he needs to get to New Domino City to duel Jack Atlas, a former friend of his, to get his card back. Stardust Dragon. Ooh. Hang on. Just getting some water. Remember what I said earlier about each series having its own theme? In 5D's theme is Synchro Monsters. Now, at first I thought that Synchro summoning was fusion. It was when Yusei summoned Drunk Warrior for the first time, and the monsters he used were Drunk Synchron and Speed Warrior. Yeah. Now tell me, did you not have similar thoughts? Yeah, I'm looking at you, Get on the front row. Anyway, the first season has a lot going on, and that's probably what I like the most about it. It starts out with Yusei meeting some very colorful characters in a facility and getting out, and participating in a tournament, winning said tournament, then dealing with the dark forces of the series. So same norm as the previous two series. And this series, and as it turns out, that Yusei as well as several others have marks on their arms, and they are called signers. They are chosen by the Crimson Dragon, the creator of everything, to fight the darkness, which are the Dark Signers. Now, if I go into the Dark Signers, we'll be here all day. Let's just say they're very interesting and not as evil as one might believe. Now, this is valuable to mention is that 5Ds also has small sections that explain what certain cards do. Those of you that have seen them know what I mean. While some of them were informal, others were just stupid. Like, some of them explain what a monster's type, level, attack, and defense points were, but did not explain the effects of the monster. Now tell me, won't that be important than saying how much damage a monster can do? Possibly. Anyway, now the attack and defense points were displayed on screen, was added in the second season, but the effect was always explained on its for certain monsters. I think that just messed up that last part. Anyway, moving on. One last thing to mention about 5Ds is that they introduced a new style of dueling, which I personally think is very stupid. It's called turbo duels. Now, I'm just, now, the thing about turbo duels is that it's basically the same as a regular duel, except they ride motorcycles. And they also only have to use speed spells that use speed counters that they get for each standby phase, which does give the standby phase a bit more purpose outside of other monsters' effects. Yeah. Anyway, now I really don't get turbo duels. I personally think that is just a fad. You know, that need for speed that we all get once in a while. Because I always thought because you all seen what happens. Well, because you all seen what happens in motorcycle accidents. The compared to the anime, compared to real life accidents, the characters in the anime got off easy. Yeah. Now at this point, I was starting to lose interest in Yu-Gi-Oh, but I did watch the first few episodes of Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal. Again, it has its own form of summoning, and the monsters are called XYZ monsters. That's XYZ. At first, I thought they were called XYZ monsters, which sounds much cooler than XZs. Yeah. So it sounds like I don't know what it's called. It's where you sacrifice two monsters of the same level and summon an XZ's monster. There are two differences to this and regular tributing. First is that the monsters have a rank instead of a level, and the monsters stay with the monsters that were used as overlays, and the XZ's monsters' effects are based around the overlays. Now the characters of the series is Yuma, which starting out as a terrible duelist, which is kind of a nice breath of fresh air. Because in the previous ones mentioned, the main characters were all very skilled at the game before we ever see them. But it wasn't until his duel with Shark and his rival did he unlock the literal gate in his mind. Those who have seen it know what I mean. That then appears is Astro, who has played the game before and is an expert at it. Which again raises a question. How well known is the game Duel Monsters? Since a floating being from another galaxy, I think, knows how to play. In the original series, the game was based on a game that the ancient Egyptians used to play, but from what I get, but from what I got here, it's apparently cross dimensions. Explain it, will ya? Boy, did Maximilian Pegasus strike at rage. Anyway, I've never seen the whole series, but it was a good way to cement it back into a child's program. It was much more colorful than 5Ds and a bit more informal to younger viewers, but to older viewers, it just got annoying. Now this was done a bit better here than 5Ds because it was explained through the characters, but it doesn't make any sense. They played before and thus should know what they do and what they have, and again the whole shebang. Anyway, it seems that every incarnation of Yugioh has its own set of plot holes, and it's going to be guys like me with tripods to point them out. Moving on to the most recent series of Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc V. I don't know a thing about. All I know about it is that it has a new technology that gives the monsters mass, and players can explore a virtual world to get cards or something. It also tells that it has 4 dimensions from the previous series mentioned, which again raises even more question about it. But then again, I haven't seen a single episode of the series, so what do I know? The main character is Yuya. That's spelled Y-U-Y-A. And his counterparts for each of the 4 dimensions. Since I don't know much about Arcv, I'll leave it at that. Anyway, the Yu-Gi-Oh! Franchise has evolved a lot over the years, and greatly expands the world of Yu-Gi-Oh! So much. Each series has its own plot holes, but they don't mess with the main plot, and would probably make for a great conversation piece. So that basically wraps up this video. I may go into further detail about a Yu-Gi-Oh! GX and 5D, since those are the ones I'm most familiar with. But those will have to be down the line. Anyway, I'm that guy with the tripod, signing out for the next video. And if you excuse me, I have to activate my trap card.